All right, it looks like we've got a good number of attendees in here. We'll be recording this session, so for those that may have started later, may miss it, we'll have this posted later. But let me welcome you all today. Thank you very much for our coffee chat, or what we call the supply chain chat about parcel trends that are here to stay. I am joined today, drinking out of the appropriately branded mug, Bill Marshall. He's going to be joining me for our chat, but let me do some housekeeping before. We want these to be interactive, so we've enabled both the chat and the question features in Zoom. So on my screen, it is at the bottom. When you bring your mouse down, you'll see both the Q&A and the chat session. Go ahead and use those if you would like to send in messages to us. No need to wait until the end of the session. If there's something that we're discussing at the time that you want more information on, go ahead and give us that. We'll do that. This is going to be about 45 minutes. I think the give and take, the back and forth between Bill and I will be about 20 minutes or so, and we'll leave some time for questions and answers at the end of that. And I think that's all the housekeeping that I get to do. So let's get started. I mentioned earlier, my name is Alan Minton. I work in sales, account management, and partnerships at 3G PaceJet, and I'm joined by Bill Marshall, who's in our solution engineering. He's been with us for a while. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Al.
All right, let me go over. We're going to leave your smiling face up, but I'm going to go ahead and change, and we're going to go ahead and do some slides right here. So let me get the slide thing going here, and then I will do my best to share the screen. Here's what we're going to do for an agenda. We've got a couple topics we want to talk about, right? What has changed since the start of the pandemic? That's a classic question being asked, in both business and social settings, and we want to talk about that. But I think the more important thing is what trends do we see that we believe are going to stay, particularly when it comes to shipping and packing. That's going to be very important. Bill's going to give us some insights on that. How do we adapt to these, though, for the years moving forward? A lot of these were accelerated. We know they're going to stick around. How can we make sure that the processes and the programs and the technology we put into place allow us to address these trends and actually take advantage of them? We do have a great story, a customer success highlight. It's how people have used, actually how this one company was able to use PaceJet and really respond super fast to some unfortunate consequences, which ended up turning out great. So we'll go over that. And then we'll have some questions at the end of that. Sound good, everybody? So let's go. Bill, we'll do a little give and take. Why don't we start with you?
Okay.
You ask some questions, I'll ask you some questions, and we'll go from there.
All right, Alan. So here's the first question. So we all know last year was a disaster. So basically, from our point of view, what's changed since the pandemic? What's changed?
Well, I think what we saw change the most, at least, when I take a look at the numbers here at PaceJet, we take a look at our 500 and some customers, what changed. Big move to e-commerce. We all knew that was coming, but the big shift came a lot faster than what we thought it was going to be, okay? So we shifted to e-commerce, and that really changed the way people were thinking about packing their products and how they were going to ship them out, right? It's not so much just B2B. There was a lot more to direct to consumer. There were some different channels that people were evolving into. And what they really needed to do is make sure that the speed of which they were packing was moving up. In essence, people had to do, they had to do more with the same. Shipping volumes went up dramatically amongst our customers. I know just on, let's just take a look at our UPS carriers. The UPS carrier, the shipping volume on that doubled in 1 year. And you weren't having a whole lot of labor additions to it. So how could they pack and ship faster? There was a lot of cloud and remote work going on. Matter of fact, our story about Alpha Broda Prime is going to talk about that. So the warehouses were having to rethink about how they use their employees. And safety crept in. And we've always had safety around OSHA guidelines and so forth. But now with the pandemic, there's all sorts of distancing requirements. And how do you manage your warehouse team, making sure that they're healthy and they're safe and they're able to be there. I think, so those are the things that I saw. A lot of people were being driven to do more with the same amount of operating expense in place.
So do you think these changes are going to go back to normal, or are they going to stick around?
I think that some will go back to normal, but the vast majority are going to stick around. And so when we talk with our customers, particularly when we do product planning, right, product management, we spend our time with current customers and prospects and ask, the heavy use of e-commerce is going to stick around, and it's going to stick around in that business to business world, right? So historically, when we think of e-commerce, we think of someone getting online, an individual getting online and buying something. But now there's so much more business to business e-commerce, the investments in the technology, and the processes associated with that. I think that more and more businesses will be involved in e-commerce. I think that volumes might they fall back slightly? Yeah, but they're not going to go back to 2019. It's just not going to be that way. We've learned how to conduct commerce in a different way, a way which we were evolving to. We just had to do it faster. So I don't believe, I think packing methodologies have improved out of necessity. I think shipping strategies have changed and improved out of necessity. So I think we'll keep those. We'll keep a focus on e-commerce, but I don't think we'll be going back to some of the manual processes, the slow integrations. And I think the evolution into cloud really got escalated. We saw a lot of people leaving on-premise solutions, moving to the cloud because they needed to have remote workers and be much more nimble. I think that's going to stay. At least that's my 2 cents. I mean, you can comment on that, Bill, too. You spend a lot of time with our customers. Follow up with that for me. What do you think?
Well, what I'm seeing, so, every once in a while I get involved in your side of the house and trying to help with solutions for prospects coming in the door. And I see more and more with prospects having the same requests coming in. Hey, aside from the fact that we're connected to an ERP system, we also have this e-commerce website as well, and we want to add capabilities into the e-commerce website. So I have to assume that for what I see, and plus what you see, we're getting more and more demand for that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know NetSuite has put a lot into their Suite Commerce and Suite Commerce Advanced applications. Microsoft, we've had some conversations with them about their D365 Commerce, and we see a lot of people saying, we're moving to Shopify or Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce. Those are so much more prevalent in our sales conversations and in our account reviews right now. So people are looking to invest money into the technology to support that. I want to flip it around. I want to ask you, we're on e-commerce, so I want to ask you a question, Bill. So we keep talking about e-commerce, but how is that different? Let's think about that. How is the e-commerce process different? And then maybe how does PaceJet support that difference?
So, it's funny you mentioned that because I was just on a call with one of my colleagues yesterday about this, and the customers are requesting that, how do we speed the process up using e-commerce? And so, once you peel back the onion and talk about that a little bit, the speeding up or what we can offer to support that is the following. The e-commerce website, so PaceJet has a REST-based API, and this REST-based API can do has multiple endpoints that you can call. And for the e-commerce website, we got to think about things like this. If you're on that website, what's the shipping method? If we can speed the process up by moving some of the workflow up to the e-commerce website, what's the shipping method? What's the fastest method to get it there? What's the cheapest method to get it there? Then the consumer or the customer, whoever it is, can then choose on the website which method they want. I want to do, next day, or I want to do, the cheapest method possible, sort of thing. So that's one thing. So we can offer that capability for e-commerce website. The next thing.
So you're supporting what it sounds like. You're supporting the choice and pushing it out into the customer's hands up front.
Correct. That's correct. We're supporting the capabilities to push that information back to the e-commerce website so the customer can then make that choice. The other thing that's really important, which I think we see more and more customers taking advantage of these days, is when you get to the very tail end, you don't want to get hit with a charge from the carrier because the address is wrong or something like this. So address corrections, we know, are a big thing. So we also offer address validation capabilities in the website as well. So when the customer is entering the address, you can, click a button or do it automatically, whatever you want to do, that says, okay, wait a minute, this is a residential address. Let's flag it as residential. So when it comes into the shipping solution, we have a residential flag set. You're not going to hit with those charges. Or we're going to validate, wait a minute, the address you've entered is missing information. So that's the other thing that we offer. And the last thing that we offer, which is really a unique thing, I think, and we had a couple, maybe 3 or 4 customers turn this on, and I think you're going to see more capabilities for this, is the tracking capabilities. Not just the tracking number per se. The tracking number that's pretty standard, but the tracking capabilities to say, I placed this order last Thursday, where is it? So I don't have to go to the carrier's website to track that. I can go back to my e-commerce website if I want to, if I'm placing orders, and look at my existing orders and say, oh, I see that it was shipped on last Tuesday. It made it to Memphis on Thursday, and it's being out for delivery today, sort of thing. So I should get it sometime today. So those are the 3 features. But I think the big feature we want to do is push some of the workflow up to the e-commerce website. So when it gets down to shipping execution time, the packer shippers don't have to say, okay, how am I going to figure this out? Is this the residential address? Is this going the best shipping method possible, sort of thing? So let's move some of the workflow up to the e-commerce website.
Okay, so let me ask you about a specific piece of that workflow, because we hear this all the time. Well, we hear it a lot in the last 6 months. Rating up front, right?
Yep.
Rating at the time of shopping. I want you to talk a bit about that, but I want to add another feature. You can rate, but we have custom rules that we're able to put in now that allow you to rate uniquely for different companies and different individuals. So can you chat a bit about that and how that's different now?
Absolutely. So when you're connected with PaceJet, we install the software and we use your negotiated rates with the carriers. But that doesn't mean you have to abide by those rules. You can do all sorts of adjustments to those rules. Customer buys $2,500. I want to do free shipping if it's over $2,500. So we can automatically build that into some of the shipping rules and rating rules that we have built into the system. I want to do markups if it's an e-commerce customer versus this customer. So I can do markups differently by customer. I can do markups by mode for parcel versus LTL differently, sort of thing. And we also have the capabilities to do custom rate rules. We've done a lot of custom specific rate rules for customers over the years, where if this customer is buying this in conjunction with this and it's, I don't know, a Tuesday or something like this, then do this. So there's all sorts of capabilities to not just push in the rates back to the e-commerce site for the shipping method, but also offer like free shipping or discounts if you buy more, sort of thing. That's standard in our application.
So let me tell you one of the new, or at least one of the new unique requests we've heard. We're talking about what's changed over the last 12 months. So it's more business to business on the e-commerce. They want to rate up front. They have contracts. So you have a manufacturer and a distributor, and that distributor says, in my contract, I'm going to pay this percentage of shipping, either all of it, half of it, some of it plus 10. Can we manage? So if I'm using PaceJet to ship something to you, can I write a custom rate rule that aligns with that contract?
You can. We can write custom rate rules. So, and we can do, okay. And the one thing you got to be aware of too is when you're quoting an e-commerce site, the question is, do you want to adhere to that price at shipping time? You probably do, sort of thing. So yeah, we can write custom rate rules for quoting time, for shipping execution time, which could be different, sort of thing. And we can also do custom rate rules, as you said, for the contract. And if this is an Amazon or a Walmart or something like this, this is the price. We don't do anything with these guys. We just give them our price, sort of thing. If it's somebody else, we could adjust the price accordingly. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about enabling customer choice at the point in the e-commerce, at the point of shopping, applying different rules that relate to the business relationships you have. Let's talk a bit more about what's becoming a hotter topic, which is sort of packing components, right? The speed and agility about that. So let's talk about how can you use PaceJet to improve your packing, number one, but also the speed of your packing, and if you're addressing high volume shipping. We have a lot of customers whose volume has increased enormously. I'm thinking, a lot of the gardening or exercising equipment or home goods, or even one of our favorite ones, uplift desk, right? I got an uplift desk over here right now. A lot of those volumes have gone up. How can we help during the packing and shipping part of that?
Okay, So that's a big question. So let me tackle this one by
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah. So let me tackle the volume issue first. So if your definition of volume equates to simply more orders on a continuous basis, right? Is that the definition of volume, or is volume in your definition a large shipment?
No, more orders, more shipments at one time.
Okay. So we've introduced some capabilities in the platform recently that allows you to do what we call quick shipping, and basically what it is, it's really fast. I've got a bunch of small parcel shipments going out the door, and my website's getting inundated with all this information. So I want to scan the order, I want to scan the item, scan the box, move to the next one. Scan the order, scan the item, scan the box. So it's all scanning, and you're scanning basically order information. Maybe it's a pick ticket number, maybe it's a customer, or you got to scan something to get the process started. You know, a typical PageJet platform is going to have hundreds upon possibly thousands of orders in it that you're running all day long, sort of thing. So scan the item scan the order that you want to process, scan the item, put it in a box, move to the next order. Quick process, sort of thing. That's how we would accomplish some fast processing time. And we're also coming out within the next month faster printing speeds at the same time. So we're going to improve our printing speed by about 50%. Now, what does that mean? So a typical scan right now for a small package, I'm going to scan the item, scan the box, and ship it, sort of thing. You're talking roughly around, I don't know, maybe 8 seconds or 9 seconds or something like this. So now we're going to try to improve that down to like the 4 to 5 second threshold. And also, these warehouses that I've been in recently, they have multiple stations. So I have a small parcel station over here. I might have an LTL station over here. I can have a truckload station over here, and they all work sort of differently. The process we want to do is, if it's small parcel, quick scanning. Let's do some quick shipping capabilities over here. Then you move to the other side of that, the middle row, which is more the LTL. So we still offer scanning capabilities. You know, we want to help reduce the error rates. Error rates are important. And what are error rates? Basically, it's I want to validate the product I'm putting in the container to ship to the customer is the right item. Obviously, you do that at picking time. You can also do that at packing time. So we're going to beep at it and say, hey, what you just scanned and put in that box is not what's on the order. So let's validate what you've got. So we put a validation step in there. Is it the same as quick scanning? No, but you're doing larger orders at this point in time. So we have to make it reduce the error rates and make it go out the door 100% correct.
What happens when you find so I've scanned the order, I'm scanning the items to put them in the box, and we realize that's the wrong items going into the box or the container. What happens?
So the screen's going to beep at you and say, hey, this doesn't work. It ain't going to fit in this box. It's the wrong item. And it's going to alert you. And then you have to take the proper processes to fix that. Why do I have the wrong item? Okay. That's a procedural issue that you've got to resolve. And then the other two steps about packing is what we offer is actually implementing a customer right now that as the transaction flows into PageJet, it's going to automatically set up the shipping container. So you don't have to do anything. And why they want to do that is because they say their products are pretty standard products. And they're already in boxes. So we don't want to have to rebox them again, sort of thing. So we offer what's called predictive packaging, auto packing, and you can change that if you want to, because not everything's in a box, but it's going to say, based upon what you're shipping on this order, we estimate that it's going to fit in this box or this container, whatever it might happen to be. So with predictive packaging, again, you can adjust that, but it's going to set it up for you. If it's good, hit the ship button, you're gone, sort of thing. And the last level of packing we offer is the newest release, which is called multi-level packing. This is for the big guys where you're building pallets and you're putting boxes on those pallets and you're putting item in those boxes or sort of thing. And each time you go through that step, I also need labels at the same time for the box. So when I generate the box and I complete that box and I move to the next box, I would get my label. And the label could be different flavors of label, and we'll get into labeling in a little bit. So those are what we offer. But for Parcel, it's the quick scan feature that I think customers can really take advantage of. Small items could be 1 or 2 items going into a box or 1 or 2 items going into 2 boxes, but it just speeds the process up so much faster.
So the multi-level packing, it's not quite consolidation, right? But it's close. Can we talk a bit about I'm going to switch. Can we talk a bit about consolidation and how that works out?
Sure.
So explain how we help out with consolidation, because that's something that people ask a lot about.
Yeah. So I've worked with many customers, and we do consolidation. I guess you could call it 3 different ways. Let's concentrate on the first 2 that I think I see on a repetitive basis right now. Consolidation of small parcel orders. So I just did a customer down in Florida. They ship a lot of jewelry products and stuff like this. I can't remember exactly. I've actually seen them I saw their ad on TV just recently. But they get a lot of orders in the same day for the same customer. So if you go look, you can then consolidate those orders. So why ship it out to Alan Minton, this order in one box, this order in this box to Alan Minton, this order, 3 boxes going down. There's 3 charges applicable here, sort of thing. Why not take those 3 orders for Alan Minton, consolidate them together, put them onto one consolidated shipment, put them all in one box and save shipping charges? So that's what we call daily consolidation. And we do have a lot of customers doing daily consolidation, identifying those orders, and let's consolidate them together on a daily basis. Weekly consolidation is a little bit different, and that is really where more of the multi-level packing may come into play.
Okay.
So I actually have a customer in the UK that does weekly consolidation. And what they do is they ship a truckload every Thursday, and I think it's going to France or something like this. I can't quite remember. But they take the order on Monday. They do the multi-level packing. They put the boxes on the pallets. They get the labels. They get it all ready. They get a next order on Tuesday, and they pack that order on Tuesday. They do the same thing on Wednesday, and they get another order on Thursday. And then what they do is they take all those orders that they pack Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they pull them all together in one order. So everything that you did from the previous 3 days is still retained. You still have all the labels. You still have whatever you need, sort of thing. And then the last day when you consolidate, now you've got a consolidated bill of lading. You've got a consolidated packing list that encompasses all those orders, et cetera. So that's weekly consolidation. So you spread the workflow out over 4 days instead of trying to do everything on the last day. Okay, so that's the weekly consolidation. And the savings are really key to this sort of thing. So again, I talked about the parcel one. If I ship to you 3 times this week, we're going to get 3 charges. But if I put it in one box, it's 1 charge going out the door. Same thing for the shipper going from the UK into France. That's the same concept. They have 1 load going out the door, not multiple loads all week long, sort of thing.
So there's significant savings? I mean,
there is significant savings. Yes, there is significant savings by doing the consolidation. And we are introducing additional functionality coming soon for consolidation, where you can actually consolidate orders on Monday, and then you can consolidate orders on Tuesday, and then you can take those consolidated orders and put them together. So if you have a huge workflow, so you can do you can consolidate orders on an already consolidated order and keep adding to that. So you're building maybe a truckload or a load or whatever it might happen to be for shipping at the end of the week or whatever time frame you want to do.
Perfect. Okay. So when you're doing your consolidation, one of the things I always get confused about is our labeling. We have some advanced labeling. I think we have another slide here. Let's talk about a bit about advanced labeling, the type of stuff we can handle. The UCC 128s, GS1s are always things that can be a bit of an obstacle for some people that have not spent a whole lot of time shipping to some of the big box stores. So can you talk a bit about those advanced labeling,
Sure.
the tools that we have?
So the advanced labeling is primarily used in multi-level scan pack. That's really what, because you're building, I mean, you could certainly do it in any of the workflows, but you have to use multi-level scan pack if you want to do boxes on pallets and all this sort of stuff. So if you look at the right-hand side of the screen where it says container and handling unit, those are out of the box from PaceJet offerings. This is what we offer. And when I go back to that customer in the UK, that's exactly what they do today. They said, that's good with us. As long as we've identified what's in that box, and in this case here, it's a mixed box. I could put products on there. I could just say mixed items sort of thing. So that's out of the box. When you install PaceJet, you can have that. It's part of the application. The left-hand side of the screen, the UCC 128 label, we don't produce those. We produce the data for those. So everything you see there, we can import from your ERP system. We have it in our system, And when you close a box or close a pallet or whatever it is, we work with business partners, Bartender as an example, or Minisoft as another one, where we feed them the data. They have the library of these labels already built. So we're just feeding them the data. The data is produced by a CSV file. So when you complete a box or complete a pallet or complete a shipment, you can feed all that information over to those business partners we work with. I think the important part is, Alan, with these labels is you want to get them as you're doing the process. That's what we offer. So don't do it. And some customers do it. They want it up front. We can't really support doing it up front. We need the data inside of PaceJet. They want these as they're doing the picking process in their ERP system. That's something that we can't handle because we need the order. And if the order hasn't been picked in their ERP system, we don't see the order. So we can produce these at the end of the flow or during the middle of the flow.
But not at the beginning, again, prior to.
We have to have the order in our system. And a lot of customers, I shouldn't say a lot, some customers are looking for them even before the order has come to PaceJet.
Okay.
But we can support all those options at this point in time.
Okay, so it's kind of obvious. We have a lot of information in PaceJet.
Yes.
And I want to talk about the data and the reporting. What does the role of data and reporting play now with increased volume, increased focus on operational efficiency? So let's take a look. So let's take a look at some of the different carrier performance, freight auditing, things like that, shipment savings. Sure. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So carrier performance, I was just recently on a couple calls with a couple customers. They want to analyze what they're doing with their carriers. What's the volume I'm doing with UPS? What's the volume I'm doing with Conway? What's the volume I'm doing with any of these carriers? Give me something that tells me what I'm doing. They're using that information. They're analyzing the data and say, how many parcel shipments am I doing? How many LTL shipments am I doing? What prices am I getting? Sort of thing. They can then take that information and digest it and use it for negotiation purpose, whatever they want to do. But all that information is available. Carrier performance also supports the ability to say, from these analytics, how many times have I done shipments where it's been late in delivery? It was delivered in 2 days. It was promised a 2-day delivery, didn't get there till 4 days. So you can see that information through the carrier performance information. All that's available in the PaceJet application. There's a ton of data in there, and customers are definitely using that to determine their shipping volumes. So they could certainly do it in the ERP system, but it's also available in PaceJet for them to extract it out, put it to a CSV file if they want to.
And so if I understand correctly, many times people have contracts with their carriers that said, if I choose to deliver it via this method and it's late, I can get full or partial refunds, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we're not going to offer the refunds, obviously. You're going to have to.
No. That's the relationships they have with the carrier, but you've got like a limited time. You have like 15 days to apply for that, or it's that's the statute of limitations on that one. So this helps do that.
Exactly.
Let's talk about freight auditing, and there's a couple key things. So let's take a look at this little freight auditing snippet that we pulled out here and talk about the elements that we've highlighted here.
It's so funny. I was actually on with a colleague yesterday, and the customer installed freight auditing, ran the first test, and the first result they came back with was the shipment went out the door at $71. The carrier charged them $140. Okay, so that was like double. So the freight auditing, basically what it does, there's several flavors of it, but we work with the big parcel carriers, and you can actually import your invoices, and we can analyze as to what they charge and say, just show me the differences that don't match. So in this example here, this shipment went out the door at $8.14 based upon the top left-hand side that's highlighted in blue there. But the actual charge, the carrier charged me was $11.87. So I lost $3.73. Why did I lose that? Because it's a residential shipment and it was not flagged going into the carrier as a residential shipment. And in this example from yesterday, Alan, where it was a difference, the DIMs that they recorded going into the carrier and the actual DIMs that the carrier measured were different. So they got hit with a DIM charge, and the DIM charge was like $65. I was floored when I saw that. $65 difference just because they didn't record the proper DIMs going out the door.
I'm sorry, I moved forward to the analytic
That's okay.
shipping piece.
No, you're fine. You're
but
fine.
That's where you had it right over here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's an example of a previous one. But this, you can import from the carriers that support freight auditing. They have to be able to provide you an invoice in CSV file format, and then we can analyze the differences and spit it out for you. So you can see, where am I getting hit with charges? Why am I getting hit with charges? So the customer yesterday says, I got to go to the packers and say, why are you not recording the package? They don't have standard packages. They do them as they ship it out the door, and they recorded the wrong dimensions. And the carrier measured it, so now they have to go and figure that out. And how do they solve that problem? But it gives you the tools to analyze, where am I getting hit with charges after the fact.
So it's not only for negotiation, but it seems like it's a training situation as well, too, right?
It is.
What's wrong in our processes that we have put into place that are causing us to incur? Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's take a look. I think the next thing I wanted to do, I got really excited about the shipment savings, right? That was my. So let's go through that one.
So shipment savings standard in our application as well. And basically what it highlights is if you're paying the freight on a lot of these things, so if it's, collect or prepaid, it really is not applicable sort of thing, because the customer is paying those freight charges anyway. But if you're paying the freight, the shipping savings is going to highlight for you, here's the shipments that went out the door, and here's the ones where if you would have shipped a different shipping method, you would have saved money. So it highlights in the shipment savings summary report all of the shipments for a period of time. This is an example I did from 1/1 to 3/1 sort of thing. I just ran a small snippet of it sort of thing. And it says that your potential savings could have been close to $26,000. And then it gives you the breakdown of the details as to, here's all the shipments that went out the door for this week. Here's what the shipping charges were. Here's the lowest cost carrier. You selected the lowest carrier, so you're good there. Or this is another one that says you didn't select the lowest cost carrier and you lost $80 on the shipment or something like this, just because you chose not to select the lowest cost carrier. So that's another advantage that we offer. Tell me where I can be saving money. We give you the tools to do that.
Perfect. All right. I'm sorry. I should have probably highlighted that a little bit better. There you have the override with the lowest rate not selected down there and recommended. Okay. So there's much more detail in that. Got it.
Exactly.
All right. I know we need to move along and honor some time. There are some questions. I'm going to highlight one of our favorite customers and the success story they had. Alpha Broder Prime, interesting company. They had done some acquisitions, merged together. Great company. They had an unfortunate circumstance that one of their individuals in their warehouse tested positive for COVID, which means they needed to send the whole warehouse home to quarantine for a defined period of time, and now shipping potentially was at a standstill. So what they were able to do is they took some people from the finance and operations department, put them in the warehouse, and the folks that were doing their shipping, they were working from home, coaching the finance people and the operations people on how to ship. So in essence, they did a one-day training using PaceJet to take some of their more inexperienced team members and get shipping up and running. Now, was it at the same volume that it was before? No, but they were still moving some stuff out. And this was super important because their volume had almost doubled at the time, and they needed to make sure that they got the right people doing the right things, and being able to work from remote was just fantastic. Some of the nice things that they've benefited from as the individual got better and they were able to come back in, they reduced a lot of costs associated with this too, because when you have a cloud tool put into place, you don't have to have individual licenses on every single workstation, meaning that their ERP licenses didn't have to be on every single workstation. Made things a lot better. But I think the real win on this is they got themselves in a bit of a crisis, and within an hour, they were up and shipping again and moving some stuff out. I know we've seen some other really interesting stories throughout this, but I thought that would be a really good one to share with everyone. If I am correct, we are almost on time here. I know there's some questions. I'm going to ask Caitlin to do something that if she wants to check the chat section and see. I know we have a couple questions that were submitted, so I'm going to ask those. And then Caitlin, if you see anything in the chat, let me know. But here's one. Okay, so increasing volumes in day-to-day shipping using e-commerce. How do you see being able to handle the increases? I think we answered a little bit of that up front, Bill, but we talked, about address validation, but you want to talk about adding different shipping methods, or, how do you see us being able to handle those increasing volumes?
Well, as I said, I think we need to think about shifting the strategy of some of the workload up to the e-commerce website to handle some of those volumes. We're working on all the time faster and different API connections with the carriers to improve that speed, number one. We are working on improving the printing speed once we get the information back from the carriers, number two. So we're doing what we can on our side to improve the connectivity between the carriers and PaceJet. But if you move some of the workload up to the e-commerce site, so the shipping method is set. So when the transaction comes in, we know it's going FedEx ground. We don't have to go rate shopping and figure out the lowest way to do that sort of thing. We know that the residential flag or that information is set accordingly. So we're not going to get hit with additional charges downstream sort of thing. So let's shift some of the workflow up to the e-commerce site. But on our side, what we're doing is we're always working with the carriers to improve the speed of the API calls. And let's be honest, Alan, as you said, when you kick this thing off, we doubled our UPS load last year sort of thing. So we're always looking at additional servers. We're always trying to maintain the same speed and make it better.
One of the questions here says, you keep talking about how you can improve packing. How can you make the warehouse packers and shippers more efficient? My guess is I'm going to think you're going to start talking about scan packing and things of that nature. But if you had like 3 tips for someone using PaceJet on how can you make those in the warehouse more efficient in packing and shipping?
Yeah, so the first thing I look at is the quick scan. Is a quick scan a good fit for you? Now, the quick scan does require some stuff to be correct. It does require that the shipping method be set up front, because if there's no carrier selected, then you have to go through the rate shopping. It doesn't make it that quick sort of thing. So that's number one. And the other thing I'm seeing sometimes with customers too is, and it all depends on the customer base, so they're all different, is does the customer have to record the detailed packing information? So there's certain instances where some customers have to say, our customers have to know what's in every individual box. I need that for possibly ASN purposes, receiving purposes, et cetera, et cetera. And there's other customers who don't. They could ship out 10 boxes and just record everything going into one box to speed the process up. So there's different options there for packing. And the other thing is we have to reduce the errors going out the door. And I shouldn't say we have to. Customers want to reduce the errors going out the door. And the scan packing gives them that capability to do that. You're scanning the item, validating that it's the right item that's on the order going into the box.
One last question that we have here, but I think we're getting close to our time, is this person talks about having customers with lots of different unique requirements. Some people need the UCC labels are generating ASNs that need to go out. Some of them require branded documents. I know we don't do that, but I know we support the creation of that. Can you talk about unique document requirements, the data associated with branded documents, how it should be streamlined, and how do we support that process?
Sure. And we do that through our business partners, either Bartender or Minisoft. Minisoft has quite an extensive library of branded documents already. So they've already got those built in for the Walmarts and those like sort of thing. So we support that by saying, if it's this type of shipment going out the door, let's generate the data file to Minisoft. And it's quite quick. I mean, when we generate a CSV file, we're talking maybe, a second or something like this. Minisoft picks it up, says, oh, this is a Walmart shipment, this is an Amazon shipment, this is, a Pep Boy shipment, whatever it is. We already have the branded documents in-house. We know what we have to generate. We're going to send it to the printer. So that's number one. And for the labeling, again, we offer standard labeling that a lot of customers take advantage of. If that doesn't work and you need GS1, UCC 128 labels, same flow. We generate a CSV flow. We work with Bartender or Minisoft to do either one. So if you already have a relationship with Minisoft for branded packing lists and labels, you're good to go. If you need GS1 labels, we encourage a business partnership with Barcoding Bartender to get those labels generated for you.
Also in the ASNs, because I know this is a big deal, right? We do a lot of work with companies like SPS Commerce. So what we do, if I'm correct, let me see if I get this right. We take the required information that is needed to produce an ASN and put it in a specific place within the ERP, and then SPS comes in and grabs that data and does the work with ASNs. Am I correct?
That is correct. So for NetSuite, we've just released the Advanced Shipping Data Bundle, the ASD bundle as we call it, and that has all the information about the shipment, and that supports both individual shipments and consolidated shipments at the same time. And SPS is supposed to be releasing their version that hooks into the ASD bundle come the beginning of April. So we're 5-10 days away or something like that sort of thing. So they've developed it. It's going through a QA process right now. So for NetSuite customers, we have the Advanced Shipping Data Bundle, works with individual shipments and consolidated shipments so they can build the ASN. For other ERPs, I work on the Infor side as well. All that data has been pushed back to Infor, and they can generate. SPS may generate it. There may be other business partners in the Infor world that grab the data from within CSI Infor as well.
Yeah, I think
all pushed back to the ERPs.
Yeah, True Commerce has done some acquisitions, I think. There's a consolidation in that EDI field, and we're working with a lot of them.
Right.
So we are exactly at 10:45. But thank you for joining us. Stay tuned to some email invites coming out. We have a couple more of these sessions in the next 6 weeks. So appreciate your time. We'll have this recorded and made available for everybody to show your friends. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Thanks.